The podcast starts without us starting. Yes, Rosette FC, myself, Ed Cavalier. Coming in live from a cupboard at his work because he's doing his own thing. James Dodd, hi, just give us a knock for hello.
I'm safe. I'm not under duress. I'm very much in a good space in terms of footballing landscape, which I didn't think I would be, Ed. We're going to come on to this later on with the certain competition taking place.
Dramatic. Mr. Peacock, where do you find yourself?
At home.
Yeah, perfect.
Ensconced in sunshine and happiness.
Ah, what?
Are you drunk?
No. Drunk with happiness, James.
Yeah, exactly right. So here we go. Who would like to kick off today?
Ed, you go, because I want to know, you've bagged the living crap out of this Club World Cup.
No, I haven't. No, I have not. If you check the tape carefully, you will find that I'm pro this thing because it's playing out the way that I hoped it would. This is what we need to break the Premier League's hold on international football. So its purpose is to break the Champions League and the Premier League's hold on international club football. That's its purpose. That's pretty obvious. And it is starting to work. And I can just demonstrate that in two pictures. So the first picture I'm going to show you is the hemming and hawing and crying about the Chelsea. All right, so Chelsea played LAFC in a football stadium, which is a stupid idea, and there was in the Mercedes-Benz, there was hardly anyone there. We can all see that. Yeah, what do you reckon, James? That's like an 80,000 seat stadium, is what?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a massive stadium. And bearing in mind, you're playing a team that, like LAFC, and this is in Atlanta, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the stadium's that right. So how many LAFC fans are going to travel? That's still a big trip for them.
No, and all the Waymos are on fire, so you can't get down there. And so there you go. So you go, oh no, all the English sites are crying. All the posh English people I know that are being paid to be there, they're all sooking. This is garbage. Not so much.
What about the common English people that have made the trip over there? The hardcore
I can't see any.
Chelsea.
Are there any?
Chelsea.
One of my favourite things is the English fans' impersonations of each other. They always give each other a much worse voice and level of education than you know what I mean? Like every time an English fan impersonates a fan of another English club, they always drop them down about 40 IQ points. And all right, so here we go. Now, how do we know it's working? How do we know this is going to work? All you have to do is add Boca Juniors. Take it away, Boca fans.
Yes.
See? They're having the time. Here they go.
Is that we are sailing?
Whatever Idale Boca means. So, there you have it. Versus Benfica. I watched that game. The atmosphere was fantastic. It was played in an amazing spirit, Adam. They both really wanted to win. Yeah. That's the gig. So, if Chelsea don't want to come, who cares? Hey, if you guys are too sooky to care that this is what it's for. It's to break the back of the English Premier League's hold on international club football. The signs are there. It's going to happen, and I couldn't be happier.
So go on, Adam, you go, because I think we're going to say the same thing.
I was just going to say, this is the replacement for the Confederations Cup. This is just FIFA's idea of making more money out of the window that they've got.
Yeah, but so is the World Cup. The World Cup is that too.
No, the World Cup is the World Cup, but this previously was the window to have the Confederations Cup, which didn't really...
Yeah, you're right. This is better than that.
Confederations Cup was... Yeah. It's but like what UEFA done with the Nations League, right? They've turned boring friendlies into a boring competition that gives Cristiano some credibility to think he rivals Lionel Messi as the best ever player. But surely, Ed, the focus of the Club World Cup is not to break the back of the Premier League, because they're going to have, like, if Manchester United play in the Club World Cup, when Liverpool play in it, they'll get sold out stadiums, right? They know that. Is it more to rival the Champions League because FIFA don't like the power that UEFA have?
I reckon one and then the other. I honestly think it's one then t'other, because it's all American investors. Like, what is it, almost half? Or is it almost 14? How many they got now, America in the Premier League? What are they on? 12? 13, I think, with one of the promotions. They're almost there, Adam. They've almost got the 14 they need to move the whole thing to Seattle and have it played in a weekend.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Chelsea in Atlanta.
The Sounders Cup.
The Sounders Cup. Sadly.
But with Ed, on the Club World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So Inter are playing. Are they going to get a good support there? Like, if they, forgive me because I haven't checked where their fixtures are, but for example,
we've got Monterrey first. So it'll be chock full of Monterrey fans. So it's like an away game. So think of it as a Monterrey fan. They got Sergio Ramos. They go, hang on, we get to play the team that was just in the Champions League final. We're Monterrey. Let's pack the joint out, yell as loud as we possibly can. That's a great victory. That's a great victory.
Sergio Ramos get sent off.
Yeah, but that's a great victory. That's fun.
Okay, so what happens then if, and this is what I think the broader question, which I've seen a lot of, snobbish journalists have this take, and I kind of think they're a little bit right. I can see the other side of it. The Bayern Munich Auckland City thing. Now, one team getting slapped 10-0 is not a good look for any competition, right? So if you, like you said earlier about Boca and the Argentinian fans and the Brazilian fans, I think Flamengo fans were doing this similar thing for their game.
I watched that game as well. It was full.
So if you take those clubs, because they're massive, they've got huge fan bases and they're great, a real passionate support. Some of the other clubs, though, does it feel like a World Cup where you do have a Panama and there's going to be a Panama that gets thumped and you're like,
the real question is, and I actually text a A-League club owner this and asked on what is it when you have to, someone's got to be anonymous? Condition of anonymity. I said, hang on, because Auckland, whatever it's called, the Auckland, which one's this? It's not the one in the A-League.
City.
Auckland
City.
Okay. This is the part-timers. Soti. Auckland Soti, right? So they're doing the whole thing. Oh, the goalkeeper, he works in a warehouse and he's taking unpaid leave to go and get slapped 10-0.
A couple couldn't go, couldn't they? Because they were working.
So
couldn't get leave.
Look, it was hardly a fairy tale story. So, but I asked this owner, I said, hang on, shouldn't we now be going over to insert oceanic country here, Fiji, anywhere except New Zealand, buying a club, training up the best players that we can possibly find, splashing a bit of cash for 3 guest players, which you can do because of this transfer window, and for the final of the Oceania Champions League, get rid of Auckland City, and every 4 years, which might turn into 2 years, collect, 25 million US that they're going to collect? That's the arbitrage in this. That's how you make some real money.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I think, am I right in saying, Adam, you might know this better than me, but the money that Auckland City are receiving for this, I think a massive chunk of it is going to the New Zealand Football Federation, I think. I don't think Auckland goes, there's like X amount of bucks straight into your account. I think they do lose a big chunk of it.
If I own a club, it's only because they won it. It's not their fault that they're amateurs. So theoretically, an amateur team could win the Champions League, if a part-time amateur league, if they were good enough and they qualified. That's not their fault. So if I play in the Oceania Champions League, it's not my fault.
The Oceanic Champions League.
Yeah, if I'm in the Oceanic Champions League,
it's not
it's not my fault that we're all amateurs. That is not. I'm allowed to be professional if I want.
Yeah. But would it not be better? Would this competition not be better if you had? And this is, and again, I don't want to come across as snobby because I like seeing teams that I've never seen play before. Like I know I was a critic of this tournament because I thought just give people a rest. Like they don't need this.
That's posh kicking in. Give people a rest. I could do with a rest when Brighton play Bournemouth for the 14th time each year. Who gives a shit? Who gives?
True.
There's 8 teams in the Premier League that people are actually going to watch, and that's the truth of it. Everyone else is shit and should be relegated if they don't get 40 points. That's the truth of the Premier League, if they want to be honest about themselves.
Did Tottenham get 40 points this year?
No, and that's what made it fun. If we brought in the 40-point threshold, we would have had a whale of a time this season,
Yeah, but then you're going to replace them with teams coming up who are not going to get 40 points the next season. Then you're in this whirlpool of mediocrity.
Great. We already are.
But so realistically, how many teams, if we're going to straw poll on it, how many teams are you actually interested in watching in the Club World Cup?
All of them.
Genuine, you are?
Yes, I watched a bit of Esperance today versus Flamengo. Esperance had their away end was full, and they were screaming and jumping and yelling. I didn't know any of the players. I was Googling people, thinking, oh, he's good. Wow, he's
One of
interesting.
them played in the A-League, actually.
I was about to say, except one of them, I was like, wait a second.
Jan Sass played at Wellington Phoenix. He came up on the TV and we're like, remember him?
A bit of
he
sass.
He got subbed at half-time.
Yeah, so then the last time, a bit of sass. So, but...
Just a bit,
not enough. Sort of really, and so... And then the Flamengo, obviously it's either people leaving Europe or going to Europe or having a lovely time in Brazil. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was really old school. Who on earth is this? But because the fans were right into it and the players were into it, they were trying their ass off. It was great. Yeah. It was great. The PSG Atletico game was great. Even though it was boiling hot, the Atletico players were complaining their toenails hurt, which is the first thing I've ever told. Lorente said my toenails hurt. I thought, that's the first time I've heard that from a footballer. And
wow, that was in the Rose Bowl, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Rose Bowl. But
I was at the Rose Bowl 6 months ago, I think.
What did you see?
I was staying in Pasadena for with the family. So I went, well, I'm in Pasadena. I'll go and have a look at the Rose Bowl. Because I actually walked through the foyer of the hotel one day and I saw Jacob Spoonley there, the Kiwi.
Yeah,
and
the commentator.
he goes, I said, what are you doing here? And he said, what are you doing here? And I explained my point of view, which was fair. And he understood. It was a family holiday. I said, oh, the Kiwis are playing Mexico around the corner tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
They played there. They played a friendly there. So I went, oh, cool.
Do you want to come?
I couldn't get...
I'm all right.
Well, it was 110 degrees Fahrenheit when they played the game. So I went, I might not take my 9-year-old daughter to that. However, what I will do is I'll go up and have a look. And it is the probably worst location you could put a football ground in terms of accessibility. It is impossible to get to. One road in, one road out. Everyone shuttles in. And not one grandstand cover on the joint. It's just this big open thing. Great for the middle of winter in a desert, which essentially Pasadena is, because they play their big college football game there, the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
But in the middle of summer, when PSG and Atletico are running around, probably not a great idea.
Is that why Diana Ross missed her penalty in '94? It was too hot.
Correct. Sweat in her eyes.
Sweat in her eyes. But it did make me feel better as an Inter fan watching PSG destroy physically Atletico, the Dark Lords that are. And also, I'll just say this quickly. I don't like seeing Diego Simeone in sunlight. I'm not into it. It's like the gals from Sex and the City. Sunlight's not their friend.
Like it
Do you know what I mean? It's not their friend.
He belongs in Gotham City.
He really does. He's a floodlights or darkness type of guy. You know,
What a
just
guy.
didn't look right.
What a guy. No.
So, Ed, just one thing that I wanted to say about the Club World Cup. So I hold my hands up, right? I was like, I don't really know if I'm into this. But then I thought, I'll give it a chance. I watched it. We watched the Seattle Sounders game when they lost.
That was great too.
Yesterday, and it was like really dramatic in the last minute, and a bloke missed a great chance. And it was really good to watch. One thing I have to say, which really got me offside about the tournament, though, is that Gianni Infantino has his name etched on the trophy. Did you know this?
I know. Yes, he does.
Like, come on, man. Everyone thought Sepp Blatter was bad. This dude he knows where, like, everything bad happened that Sepp tripped over. He's worse. This dude is the biggest, like...
That's a big flex. That's a big ego trip, that one there. Putting your name on the trophy.
On a trophy.
Okay, I actually... Sometimes you have to unfollow someone on Instagram because of like a crime they've committed, you know what I mean? And this was it for TNT football. Because, oh no, this was some other one, because you're right. The worst moment ever in football has just taken place. Did you know this?
No.
The worst moment in football's history has just taken place. You know, Irish listeners are going, no, what about Thierry Henry's handball? Look, there's various other things, you know, like Frank Lampard against Germany. Oh, they think it was over the line, and it was, etc. Right? Nothing compared to when Gianni Infantino let I Show Speed, the influencer, be the president of FIFA for a minute at the game they were watching together. He gave him the jacket. He's sitting next to Ronaldo. And
Ronaldo.
Yeah, actual Ronaldo. So there he is. An influencer was the president of FIFA for 1 minute. He said it was fun, and he actually got $10 million in bribes in that 1 minute. Look at that.
No wonder he looks so happy.
So that was the worst. That was the worst thing that ever happened in football. Just congratulations. That was it.
Ever.
That was it. That was the worst thing that ever happened.
Oh, well, the kids loved it though, Ed.
But do they?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Do you know what? I'm going to ask the kids. What are
No,
they
do you know
on?
what it is?
I'll fax them.
It's people of our vintage, a little bit older, thinking, what will the kids like? They'll like this. Here,
Yeah, you
kids,
got it.
I'll force you to like this. Kids look at it and go, oh, that's cool, and then get on with the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
and then
right.
said middle-aged person is, wow, that worked. And everyone's
Yes.
happy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. We're left with it. Yeah. All right. So that's the Club World Cup. We'll finish with the best kit. The best kit at the Club World Cup. Yeah, because a lot of new kits
Now you
banging
got me
around.
interested.
Yeah, this is it goes to the Sundowners, the South African team. Have you seen this?
Mamelodi? Is it
Yeah, Mamelodi
Sundowns?
Sundowns. This is really good. This is their home kit. It's on the website. For some reason, it's only got the kid version, but I know they got the older one. Look at that. So you got the town in the middle with the colours. That is a beauty.
It looks like a T20 kit.
Oh, do you know what? It does a bit, but I reckon that's great. And I've heard that Western Sydney Wanderers are going to do the same, but with an image of Lidcombe and a drive by.
Okay.
Just
Excellent.
what?
I was expecting burnt out car, to be fair.
No,
Drive-by.
I am specific to my stereotypes. Thank you so
Ed,
much. I
Noah was hoping to start this weekend, but he'd be lucky to be in the squad after that. So thank
I'd
you.
like to change that joke to be the Central Coast Mariners and someone methed out on the train at the train station.
Zero comment.
All right.
Kit-wise, worst kit by Munich.
Oh, this is putrid.
They're terrible. Ruined it.
Yeah.
Not that I was a big fan of the kit anyway, but yeah, garbage.
Got it there? Ed? No.
No, I was looking for the Bayern Munich kit.
Yeah, that's
and
what
then
I mean.
No, I was looking
Have you
for
got-
it. I will find it because it is trying to
Just with
hide
the
from me.
football, I
Yeah.
feel that I'll get interested around the time of the knockouts when said big South American team takes on said big European team and
Okay,
said
that's
stadium
fair.
is
Yeah,
packed
that's
full
fair.
of
Yeah, that's
rabid fans. I just,
Yeah.
I just got to not distance myself from football, but just a little break. And this has to be it.
Yeah, I hear. But
This
it
has
is.
to be
It's fun. Do you know what it is? I think a load of people who'd be listening to this, I think they would feel the same way. It's great office viewing. You know, if you have it on in
that's
the
a good
background
one.
and you have it on, it's like during
Yeah,
the
that's
World
a
Cup's
good
on, you don't
one.
really care about like
Yes.
Senegal, Japan, for example. And there's nothing against those two countries, but if you're not a supporter of them, you have it on the background. It's like nice background noise, and you go, "Oh, last 10 minutes here, this could get interesting." It's like
yeah.
that. That's what I find this tournament. Is
Yeah,
good
that
for.
was good. Clever.
Mm.
All right, who would like to go next?
I'll have a
Peacock.
little crack. So Gattuso taking over
Oh my God.
Italy. Geez, this is destined to not end in tears, is it? It's like going to be completely sane. I cannot wait for his first close defeat and see what he says, especially with some of the TV punditry that goes on in Italy as well after he had a crack at that guy in Croatia. Imagine what's going to go down in
Is
Italy.
this one he basically he
Yes.
went, no, he's like, I'm not shaking your hand. Is that the one? Is
Because
that
you
not
bagged me. You bagged my
Yeah.
team. I loved it. It was great. Like, instead of, you're a good bloke, walk away. No, he's an arsehole.
She's a
No,
great
Scott,
one.
he's just
She's
went-
space. That is
straight up.
excellent. That is an excellent one.
I thought, who are the more intriguing international management appointments that we've seen over
Yeah.
time? Now, obviously, Arnie's in Iraq. That was on the bingo card 12 months ago.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Graham
Yes,
Arnold.
Yeah.
Like Mario, go way back. Mario Zagallo, absolute coaching legend. He took over Kuwait in the mid-70s. That was a bit out there. Harry Redknapp was, for 2 games, in charge of Jordan, got belted 5-1 by Australia and never seen again by the Jordanian. I remember that game because it was a must-win for the Socceroos, and he's like, and Harry has in his, I can't do his accent that well, James. but he-
cool player, top player,
he basically said, I just wanted to help my mate out. Who's your mate? Oh, the ruler of the country, the prince. He asked me to do it. So
He thought it was Joe Jordan.
That's
exactly.
great. That is great. My mate. Yeah.
One of the best stories of all time, though, James, has to be the one I was reading about last night because I was looking for current great players, current former players who are now managing international team. And I've got a 5-a-side, which I'll get to in a moment.
wow.
Don Revie, the story
okay.
of Don.
Yeah.
Do you remember this one? He became
Long
a
way before I was
pariah
born.
in England. He took over Sir Alf Ramsey after England had the success in '66. They missed out in 1970. Don
Okay.
Revie missed out. He took over the England job, missed out on the 1976 European Championships. You can imagine, Ed, how Fleet Street reacts to that.
Yeah.
Temperature
Happily.
rising.
Yeah.
So England, with Don in charge, went and played Brazil. Only Don
God.
said,
my God.
I'm going to go and scout our next opponent in Europe. It was actually found that he was actually in the UAE doing a deal to work out his next management gig. He
Shut
soon
up.
quit, and he announced his resignation by being paid by the Daily Mail for an exclusive in the paper
Don.
to take
All right.
over.
Do you know what? That's actually really good. That's actually
That's
he's
such a
actually
good
nailed
story.
that.
Smart.
That's a Netflix special in itself. That thing. So
Yeah, but they
anyway.
wouldn't do it because it's actually true. So their documentary is the basis of all. How do you know something's not true? I saw it in a Netflix documentary.
What, you're saying that I shouldn't go vegetarian? Anyway,
Yeah, let's the vegan one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hey Arnold, do you own a lot of shares in a Beyond Meat company? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you do. Oh, you do. Oh, Arnold, in your book, Total Recall, did you credit your physique to quote being able to eat as much meat as you want in the Austrian army? You did. Never mind. Let's move on.
And what's the other dude? The other one, he was like, no, I just eat organs all day.
Oh, the organ
that-
guy. Yeah.
and just
The
lump on
organs
the human
guy.
growth hormone at every
I guess
possible
the organ
opportunity.
guy. Yeah. When Joe Rogan says he looks sus to me, that's when you're, oh, God, no. This is too obvious. This is too obvious.
that's a
The man
threshold
is-
beyond
the
where you
man
thought
is
it was possible.
purple.
Yeah.
That is.
So, international management scene right now with former players building a 5-a-side team. I've got Carlo Ancelotti just directing things in the middle of the park,
Cool.
maybe playing as a sweeper. Brazil, that's great. Carlo involved in international management. On the sideline, because I don't know if he was ever a great player, and he sure as hell isn't now, is the manager of Zambia, Avram Grant.
And
Avram
Yeah.
Grant, Chelsea, mates with Abramovich. I do read with interest that Zambia, they've qualified for the African Cup of Nations. That's the one where all the English pundits blow up that all the best players leave, even though the fact that they've signed an African player and there's a chance that this might happen in the middle of the season. And it's always a surprise to them.
Why is it always the English? I'm sure the Spanish and the Italians hate it when their players go to Africa.
I just can't read their language. I can't read their press, James, so it's always the English.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, same. Yeah, it's actually same. Yeah.
I do read with interest. Zambia did qualify with a leg in the air, I might say, for the African Cup of Nations. But in March, this skipped over, they actually played a friendly in Russia. Got beaten 5-0 by Russia in Moscow. I thought Russia were banned from playing
They have a
international
team.
football.
What was they called?
Yeah.
Russia.
Roman
They're called
Abramovich
Russia.
organised the friendly, did he?
Yeah.
Wow,
So Avram Grant's the manager of this team, but on the park, now Gattuso's involved in case there's a discrepancy with the opinion of the referee, perhaps, or something like that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Lee Bowyer, who was in the team until 5 minutes ago when I had to check, he's actually gone. He was in charge of Montserrat in the Caribbean, but they were on a steady decline, which is saying something because they're down near the bottom of the rankings anyway under Lee Bowyer. So he was relieved of his duties, but he's still in the team. John Van Schip, one of the best Dutch players of the 70s and 80s, he's in charge of Armenia. Rocky start for John, former Melbourne Heart manager. He got smacked 6-1, 9-1 on aggregate in the Nations League by Georgia. Kvaratskhelia obviously went bananas in that.
Yeah.
But he did claw back some relativity on with a 2-2 fighting draw away to Montenegro in June.
Yes.
So John's in the back. Remember a player at Arsenal by the name of Silvino, James?
Yeah.
Dodgy passport. Sylvania, that's why he had to leave Arsenal.
Well, he's in Albania now, so he's got diplomatic immunity in Albania now. So he's in charge of Albania. And one of my favourite ever players to always chuck into my Premier League fantasy team back when I was doing it, the great Luis Boamorte.
Oh, my God. Who is his lookalike? Him and Ian Wright, wasn't it? Didn't he have
he did look like Righty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guinea-Bissau is in charge of. So,
is he actually?
Off the coast of West Africa there.
Wow.
So there's my team. It's not a bad
Who's
team.
the goalkeeper?
Who's
Who's a
Who
goalkeeper?
can rush goalkeeper? There must be a goalkeeper who's an international manager that we're skipping over. Because you don't get many goalkeepers that make coaches, really. They often go into goalkeeper coaching or... I can't think of one off the top of my head who's been like a first choice.
Yeah, well, Dino Zoff, but that's going away a bit.
That is going way back. I can't screen share. I'm not as good as Ed. That's why I was a little bit kind of distracted over here with the early stages. But yeah, Lopetegui's in Qatar, actually. I wonder why he went there.
Yeah, I just want...
Big fan of the Qatar Stars League.
Here. Remember how it was like, this is Luis Boamorte and Ian Wright.
Yeah.
And then now you look back and you go, nah, it wasn't that good. But this was something, because you can see guaranteed to cause confusion, meets his double, because he signed for Arsenal. This was I remember this was a thing for ages.
When was he at Arsenal, James?
Yeah, he went to Arsenal.
Yeah, I remember Luis Boamorte. He was when I reckon they signed him in like 97-ish around then.
Yeah. That T-shirt's around that time. All right, who's up next? That was
Geez, Uganda have got a manager by the name of Paul Putt. You wouldn't want to mispronounce that and scare the locals.
Wow. What type of fields is he playing on?
Sorry, continue.
Last one.
Yeah.
Steve McLaren.
Yeah.
Was a player.
No, he's doing well in Jamaica.
Jamaica.
No, he's doing well.
I love the players love him as well.
I follow the Reggae Boys, and he's doing a good job.
Yeah, they love him.
So
it's just
Jamaica. Has he done the local accent quickly, like he did in Holland that time?
Yeah, well, this is it, because there's all these clips of him like saying like "sexy girl" and stuff like that, like these things like that. Right. Like it is very funny to be fair.
Fantastic.
Right, transfers. I wanted to get onto because we've passed the silly temporary transfer window and the actual transfer window has opened up now. And it got me thinking because there's been a lot of Australian players linked overseas, players coming to the A-League, leaving the A-League to go over. So I wanted to run through a little list because it then bleeds into some listener questions that we've got today. Some great questions came in. So the first one, Adrian Segacic. We get a lot of questions about these players to the Instagram account as well. So from my understanding, Segacic has signed for Portsmouth, right? That's done. Is it cool? And I like Sega. I think Sega had a great half
cool.
season here for Sydney. Do we want so many Australians at one club, or would we rather that they go, he's
was
playing
alright
him
when it
this
was
week,
Leeds.
he's there. What do you guys think?
Nah, I like it.
Yeah, fan?
Yeah.
I do worry though. The only worry I've got is who's the head of football or technical director of the club or sporting director or head coach. If said person is removed, who is attracting all these Australian players, what happens to said Australian players?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
okay.
I mean, Kusini Yengi's left and he's gone to Aberdeen in Scotland, so he's there. But they really like Thomas Waddingham, as they made a really good impression. Hayden Matthews, they think, has been an outstanding sign-in from
seen a bit of him,
Sydney
he's been
FC.
good.
So he's very good, Hayden Matthews.
I mean-
Okay, so that's Adrian Segacic. Go on, Adam.
Sorry, it's good that a club like Portsmouth, I just wish there were 10 or 15 that recognise that Australian players are, by market standards around the world, undervalued. There's a litany of reasons for that, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's just a fact that our players...
Yeah. Yep.
Like if Nestor Irankunda had a Brazilian passport when he left Australia, you put a 0 on the end of his transfer value.
Why wasn't he in the last few squads?
Need a break.
I think, need a break, and I think he's a young lad who's just finding his way of being a professional footballer and the trappings and the pitfalls that come
as long
with
as
that.
it's not like he hates us.
No.
No.
Right, Noah Botic.
Yep.
16 offers on the table, I'm told. Noah has. Big clubs. So
Whittled
there
down
was
to
talk of
4,
the Bundesliga.
I've heard.
Yeah. Say again, sorry?
It's been whittled down to about 4, I've heard.
Yeah.
So announcement imminent.
Where do we reckon? Bundesliga is one that's been talked about. Eredivisie?
He had interest all over Belgium, Holland, Croatia, Germany. I would say Germany, yeah.
So who gets the money? The old owners of Western United or the new ones?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure because he's out of contract.
Training compensation only, so it's €360,000.
Ouch. No fee.
No fee.
Well, €360,000
But he's
is not
23.
Yeah, but you get the training compo for the maximum
No.
amount. It's €90,000 per season
I hate that.
in Europe. Yeah. So, yeah,
So
they've got
the
to
Noah-
learn.
So hopefully we can. I mean, listen, we've been talk. If we let people into the inner workings of Rosette FC, Adrian Segacic, Noah Botic, people we might be speaking to at some point coming up soon.
Yeah, I love that.
Next one. This is the one that I think will get you both excited, right? If you weren't already. Ryan Teague.
Yes.
So Ryan Teague is, my understanding, is wanted, friend of the show, of course. A couple of Belgian clubs, but wait for it, Wrexham. Wrexham like
really? In the
Ryan
Championship?
Teague. Wrexham are playing Melbourne Victory fairly soon in Melbourne. I think that would be a great move.
Wow.
Not just for the publicity aspect and stuff like that, but Ryan Teague is a fantastic footballer, and he's
Championship.
Is this
I
part
like
of
him as a
the?
player.
Is this part of the Wrexham global appeal
I was just
approach
thinking that.
of
See, everything they
connecting
do-
someone with
Yeah,
a
you're right.
Chinese heritage to open up the Chinese market?
He turned his back on them.
He turned his back
He
on
did
them.
turn his back on them.
He's in all sorts. Go back
No.
to Huawei. He's in all sorts. If he
Chose
tries that.
us on your TV.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
He was
Would
playing
we
the
like that?
Championship.
Would we like Ryan Teague at Wrexham?
Sure.
Anything,
Anything-
championship. Yeah,
the-
anything.
Anything that furthers a player's career and matches the ambition, but also helps A-League clubs fund themselves the cycle.
Yep.
If and hopefully they're getting the use to the idea of let's have longer contracts and have
So
transfer fees and
Well,
things
that
like that.
Botic one is enough to make you want to throw up. That's putrid. I hate that. Like the fact that they're not going to get a sweet fee is just disgusting. That makes
the
me
way it goes.
very upset.
Contracts work, I suppose, isn't it?
I get it, but it's you're like, well, it's almost like, what are we doing then? Ouch. Ouch.
It's with the Teague one as well, because obviously I think he's still under contract with Victory, but there's a part of me that I've loved watching him this year, not just because we had him as a guest on the show, but I love watching that style of midfielder, but I'd also really want to see how he would fare in the Championship. And
It's much
we
quicker.
saw him make his debut for the Socceroos,
big.
and he took to that like a duck to water, didn't he? So, okay, one talking about coming back to Australia, potentially on a short term, like a loan. Sam Silvera. Now, I know there's a couple of clubs that are interested and have made proposals towards Sammy. I think Sydney FC's one, actually, which would be very good. I think he'd be a good fit for them. If you were a player that's been and gone, if we're Ed Cavalier, let's say you're contracted to a championship club and you've had a few moves on loan, how would you feel about coming back to Australia? Would you be like, I want to stay here because it might be the door closing on me?
Like if Ed, you went over and starred in some indie films over in America
now
and then
we're
came
talking.
back and you had to start doing Have You Been Paying Attention again, would you be okay with that?
Well, if they're indie films in America, though, that'd be shit. Or like, I'd always be happy doing. Have you been? It'd be more like that you were over there signed to like a network sitcom, and but they had too many people on the book, so you came back here and did like a Stan comedy show. Acting's different though because it's so hard for people to get work, so it doesn't really. So it's a weird thing to equate to. I don't know. I feel as though people playing is just careers are short. Surely playing's better than not playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, to be honest. These players are young, right? The ones that we're all talking about.
Yeah.
The next player on that list is Nectarios Triantis. Now, he's been in the crosshairs of individuals in the media for a long time because there's this hoo-ha over, is it going to be Greece? Is it going to be the Socceroos? Nothing's decided on that front yet, I can say that much. But he's got offers as well. Now, Triantis is a really interesting one because he's had a great season with Hibs. He's got offers in Scotland to stay there, Eredivisie, and Germany. Now, Sunderland are obviously promoted back to the Premier League. I'm told that realistically, it's going to be a loan move. But if you're Nectar and you're Sunderland, right, Adam, given that they've just been promoted, they're going to have all this money and there's a good chance that Premier League clubs who get promoted back to the Premier League go stupid and signed loads of players from overseas who might not be good enough. I mean, how many did Nottingham Forest sign when they came up? Wasn't it like 25
14,
players?
25.
352.
Yeah.
Exactly. For me, they're silly not to even look at Nectar Triantis and go, you know what? He's done it in Scotland. There are a lot of players that have done it in Scotland, come down to the Premier League and have coped absolutely perfectly well. I'd love to see Triantis have a crack in the Premier League, but also, if there's that kind of mindset where if it's not on the table, go overseas, go to Germany, go to Holland. Look at Max Ballard's doing in Holland.
He needs to play. He can't just sit there and go, I'll play in the League Cup. And that's it. So I would say where he's playing, and if he wants to a centre-back, Holland. Holland ideal.
Wowzers.
To do it. But good to have options.
I agree. So all this transfer thought, I thought, I'll round up some bits and bobs that we hear as people who work in this industry. This leads on to the listener questions this week.
Oh my God, how long are these? I need to go. How are these?
It's
fucking
quick.
How many are
John
there?
Turner said, my
Better be
question's
good,
a weird
John.
one, guys.
This better be good, dude.
From the contracts expiring page on Transfermarkt, which player out of contract do each of you conceivably think you could message on Instagram, actually get a response from, and then try and sell a move to Australia to?
Well, Luis Belmonte, but I think
Lee Bowyer, he's free.
Yeah,
Lee
there
Bowyer.
was a guy that he got kicked out of Wrexham. Was it Jay Rodriguez or no? Stephen Fletcher was it? The former Scottish international. I saw that and I thought, I reckon Stephen Fletcher. You go, mate. Lafondra did a great job here. He got him. He made like a lot of money coming out. He's doing well. Got another contract in India. He really feathered the nest and had a great time. I saw that too, and I was like, mate, from where you were hair-wise, Stephen Fletcher, gone to now a ponytail, and he's a handsome guy with really nice tats. Come and do some Australia. You will not regret it. That was my one.
Adam, I reckon I could answer your one for you.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Matt Ryan. I reckon, because this is the contracts expiring page, right? Matty's deal.
He's the littlest hobo. He just rocks up with gloves and keeps goal in Europe. No way he's coming back to Australia.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't for his sake.
He won't be back for 5 years.
Yeah.
I'll be
Because
amazed.
he's also, you know what he could do? I was like, he could do the Man City third. Because Scott Carson just stopped, so they got Bentinelli. So Bentinelli, the former Chelsea guy's now got the gig, so he gets to win trophies while being grey-bearded. And I'm like, Matty. I thought that. I was like, Matty Ryan could bust out the third. Schwarzer did it. He was great. That's a great gig.
Okay, next question. This is from BMX Rider. What is the team's opinion on that Jonathan Liu article on Ange? If Ed can do it in character, all the better.
I haven't read it, but let me guess. Ange sucks. He was awful.
Thank God he's in for him from
Thank
day
God
one.
he's gone.
It was a drive-by.
Yeah, but
Some of the stuff he said I thought was actually true, to be fair, but
I
some
haven't
of the
read
stuff
it, so I can't comment. But I can imagine he wasn't. What was the tenet of it? I can't comment without reading it. So what was the tenet of it?
he basically said Ange has become the master of being the bullshitter, and that actually that's what all coaches should be doing now. Because at one point, I think Jonathan Liu's angle was that you tell me it's not about league position. Sorry, it's all about league position, and it's not about this as progress, qualifying in fifth. It's about progression each year. And then Ange this year was saying things like, our league position doesn't matter. It's not about league position. It's about trophies. And Jonathan Liew was like, basically, it struck me as someone who'd been bitten by Ange in a press conference once before, and they've held on to it for a long time.
He's the sook to end all sooks. He is the sook to end all sooks. I haven't read it, but so I can't comment. But his normal routine is just it's like, bro, if you hate do something else.
Saw Ed's favourite collection of people at a bar in Qatar, which is an interesting concept in itself. But it was a place serving alcohol in Qatar.
Wow.
You go into a hotel, you go up, you go back. There's no windows. It can't be seen from the street. You don't even know it's there in the street. Like a 5-star hotel. And you have to show your passport to get in. They keep your passport at the front of the door there. You go in and you pay $27 for a beer, which is not too far off of Justin Ham's establishment here in Australia, in Sydney. But that's by the by. And Jonathan and his Guardian mates were there. And I was just like, I was nearby at a nearby table. You could hear the conversation. I swear to God, they actually don't like football.
No, that's the poll I want. Anonymous poll. Come on, guys, be honest. How many of you hate football?
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. Not just them too. Like all that set of. And they were the biggest. They're not them. I'm just saying that posh set have been the biggest complainers. The pre-haters, I call them. They've been the biggest pre-haters of the Club World Cup. Their ability to pre-hate things and then get out of it. All the posh dudes who want to pre-hate things and then sort of try and bang on about the politics behind it. They always say the same thing when they realise, oh, hang on, I actually get paid to do this, and this is my whole life. They always have the same line, which I'm going to borrow. But of course, we're going to keep talking about it here and keep bringing up the big issues. Okay.
Here's one for you. Here's a line from this article.
It's a great get out.
A 57-year-old Australian bullshits his way into a Premier League job to spectacular away wins at Manchester City and Manchester United, to some of the most entertaining football ever seen from a Tottenham team in my lifetime. He convinces players to run themselves past the point of wellness. He convinces them to stick together amid a frightening assemblage of centrifugal forces. I think that's how I say it. He's very intelligent. He convinces a significant part of the English football public that league tables are a form of fraud, and finally to a European title. It's beautifully written. It's wonderful prose. He's a fantastic writer.
Yeah. There were a lot of words I didn't understand in that article, and that's me being not even.
I do read a lot of his articles,
to be honest.
And I dare say that the whole idea behind the subconscious idea behind his articles is to make people think at the end of it, he's so intelligent.
Yeah, it's a self-aggrandizing. It's a hiding behind like poshness and sort of. ChatGPT, give us what a second year at Cambridge would say about football.
Last question. I promise it's a very quick one. Jess, amongst numerous people, messages, Ange's next club, what about the Saudi Arabia links? What do you think?
RB Leipzig for me. Hopefully.
Yeah. America, World Cup.
Pochettino.
Yeah. I actually wouldn't begrudge him if he went, you know what? I'm going to take the Saudi gig. I'm going to do 18 months, 2 seasons in Saudi.
Anyone? I don't get this.
Because people,
jobs?
I think, with players going to Saudi, it's like when you've got a 25-year-old going to Saudi and you're going, but your talent...
Who was that 21-year-old, 22-year-old who made like 24 million and then just came back to Porto or Benfica? What's his name?
Yeah, the lad... well, there was one who went from Celta Vigo to a club, and he's now
Ivan Toney
might be the same one.
Poor old Ivan Toney. Like, what's he done? What's his punishment for going and playing in Saudi? Being in the England squad. It's insanity. That's such an English, but that's such another English way of looking at it. There are so many players from so many countries that play in Saudi that then go play for their national team. It's just nonsense. It's absolute nonsense.
Yeah, except for the Saudi players who don't play in Saudi and then play for the national team and don't qualify for the World Cup.
That is very true. That is a very true statement. All right. Well, that was fun. Please DM us your questions at
Love those questions, James.
FC. Yeah, I'm going to chat really GPT the poshest article I can possibly think of about XG. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can out.
Can you do it? And next week, can you read the first 3 parts for us?
Easy. I actually don't need to chat GPT. I can do it off the top of my head. I'll see how I'm going to try and then submit it to the Guardian. I'll ring up Rushton and go, hey, Rushton, can I start writing for the Guardian? I'll send it to you.
You're in.
This, bro. Oh, I won't say bro. No, he'll kill me for that. No, I can't say bro. Sorry. Excuse me, sir.
Massive thank you to everyone, by the way. We were the highest ranked Australian football podcast this week. We're 3rd on the list. The only 2 ahead of us were like the rest's football and transfer overlap or something. One of those 2. So thank you for listening.
I just got a text from Dr. Chris Brown. But I don't want to. Because my Cavalier Spaniel has diarrhea, so I don't want to talk about it. I don't have to sit here and talk about this.
Coming up
Stop
next
feeding
week.
it chocolate.
All right. Have a great. Stop feeding it chocolate. Chris Brown? No, he loves it. All right. So, all right. Thank you all. Have a lovely. We'll see you soon.
Ciao,
Cheers.
ciao.